Hello there. If you can watch this video, you're probably part of my family, one of my friends, or a YouTube user who stumbled upon this. Whatever the case may be, welcome to the very first entry in my video diary of life here in Japan. Three questions I have to ask and which I have to answer subsequently. Who am I? Why am I doing this? Why now? My name is Elon, that's Elon, and I am a graduate student here in Tokyo. I come from a country known as the Philippines, that's south of here, and I moved to this big, beautiful cosmopolitan city exactly 9 months ago. That would be the perfect segue as to why I'm making this video log. Midnight today, midnight June 1, I was in a club with a couple of my friends having fun, dancing to some pretty good beats. And it came to me, I had just spent 9 months in Tokyo. That's a simple declarative sentence, I know. But the significance was, I had just spent 3 trimesters in one of the most cosmopolitan, most vibrant cities on earth. And what did I have to show for it? Granted, I am a graduate student and I am here to pursue a life of the mind. I love studying, I live for reading, I write papers. And that's okay, that's part of my life. I am in the academe, so that's part of the job, and I do like it. But then I'm in Tokyo, I'm in Japan, and I realized so many people would want to be here, would want to visit, would want to live, would want to study here. For that matter, I think some people would want to trade places with me. I wouldn't say I regret spending the last 9 months ho-hum, because there were some exciting moments. I made a lot of good friends, many of whom, by the way, are leaving. More on that later. And I learned a lot of stuff. But much of the wisdom that I had garnered from my experiences here in Tokyo have been limited to the occasional status update on Facebook, or the more intimate Skype conversations I have with my mother, or longer emails with family members, colleagues from back home, and friends. I figure that if I were to share videos and upload them on YouTube, I would be reaching a much greater audience, a much larger audience, and I would be participating in a discussion about Japan. When I say discussion about Japan, I've noticed that there are so many bloggers out there, so many vloggers, and they're part of this big echo chamber where people sing praises of this beautiful country known as Japan. And I want to be part of that conversation. I want to spark debate. I want to talk about certain issues. I want to share my experiences. And basically, I just want to let the world know that I am a big fan of Japan and that I am very, very grateful that I am here as a graduate student, as a scholar, as a foreigner, learning the ins and outs of Japanese culture and fitting into Japanese society. I said that I have only 13 months to go. And while it sounds like a lot because that's a year and 1 month, and you're probably asking, Elon, that's a year and 1 month. But you know, when you live in a place as exciting as Tokyo, where there's so much to do, and where there's everything for everyone, there's an expression here that goes, nai mono nga nai, which means there is everything for everyone. I want to make the most out of my remaining 13 months here. Again, I don't regret the last 9 months. I learned a lot. I got to work with some fantastic people in the academy. I made a good number of friends, people who have done so much for me and for whom I would do so much as well. I've strengthened my relationship with my mother, who's back home. The distance has been good for both of us. Um, so yeah, 9 months were good, but there are still 13 months left. 9 months good, 13 months, they have to be awesome. They have to be fantastic. They have to be spectacular. You know what? When I first came here, and not last September, when I first came to Japan, that was in high school. I spent my gap year in Kyushu as an exchange student. I was reluctant to integrate myself into Japanese society. I felt that, okay, Japan's good. Thanks for the scholarship. I'm here to learn. But I wasn't exactly interested. Yes, I picked up the language. I picked up the local dialect. I learned to love my host family. I made some really good friends. I got a mentor out of it, my exchange student advisor, whom I still keep in contact up to now, along with my host family. But I felt that the 10 months I had spent as a high school student weren't as good as they should have been. 10 years after, fast forward 10 years, a whole decade, and I was given another opportunity to come back to Japan. And my family, a lot of my friends, my colleagues were telling me, maybe you have some unresolved issues with the country, and this is life's way of telling you, you have to confront those issues. You have to re-embrace Japan. And when I came back to Japan, end of August last year, I said, more than just coming back to this country, picking up the language, doing my studies here, I was gonna look for the pieces of my heart that I had left in this country. I didn't want to admit it when I was in high school or in college that I had left an important part of me here. That's how much I love Japan, how much I fell in love with Japan, and I fell in love hard. And now I'm here, I think, because I have to consummate this relationship with Japan. And the best way by which I can do that is to live my life to the fullest, to learn as much as I can. In the words of one colleague, to soak it all up, to read the most difficult books, to write cutting edge papers, and hopefully they get published, meeting new people, making new friends, and according to that beautiful TV show Departures, making new friends and keeping the old ones, learning a language, finding myself, and if I might add a very personal note here to this already very personal video log, finding love. Okay, that was a little embarrassing to say, but yes, I'm single. I'm in a big city, and it's not always easy. But thankfully, I have friends, and they've been there for me, through thick and thin. But the thing is, a lot of my friends are leaving Japan. They're about to finish their terms as exchange students, or they're graduating from their master's programs, or their contracts have expired and they have to go home. So I have a year to find new friends, make new connections, rediscover Japan, and live a good life. Live a fantastic life for the next 13 months. So what's my project? My project is basically, I'm going to talk in front of my laptop here in my apartment. I'll talk about what's happened to me throughout the day or throughout the week or whenever I get to update. Share some insider information as a foreigner living in Japan. Okay, let me just qualify that. I guess what makes this video log special is that it will come from the perspective of a Southeast Asian, a Filipino. It will come from the perspective of an academic, a graduate student, and I'm an academic back home, so that should add one layer of perspective to it. It's also done from the perspective of a gay man. I recently just came out to my mother, yes, through Skype, And it was great because I realized that the distance was good for us, and I finally got the courage to tell my mom exactly who I was. And guess what? She accepted me for all that I was, and our relationship's even better now. We're stronger. So there. If you get to watch my other videos, the ones that follow this, you're gonna get perspective from those angles. The perspective of a foreigner, of an educated Filipino, um, a gay man, a stranger living in this big and lonely place. I admit, Tokyo is a lonely place, and we're all looking for that special connection somewhere. We're always looking for friends. And if we go to bars or the clubs, we try to look for something deeper, more meaningful, or sometimes even something transient, just so we get to feel something. Don't get me wrong, I love Tokyo. I love this country, but it is a little difficult to live here, especially when you're living on your own in an apartment. Well, I do live in a dorm though, so that's a good thing. But I have my own place, my own apartment in it. So basically, I lead my own life. How else would this video log be different from all the other video logs out there? Well, for one thing, it's more for personal reasons. I'm making this for my family and my friends, my former students, and all of my colleagues back home. Hey guys, if you can see this, hello, I'm alive. Yes, I've lost weight and I feel good. Yeah, this is a Japanese hairstyle and I like it. Oh, and yeah, those are my books over there. I read them. Personal reasons just to update them, show them how I'm doing, and as one student said, I really miss hearing your voice. So, my dear Mika, here is my voice. You're gonna hear it once every week for the next 13 months. That's a good thing, right? Thumbs up. I want to participate in that discussion that happens when foreigners talk about their lives here in Japan. Bloggers, vloggers, people who have Instagram accounts, they all weave their own narratives of Japan, and these are seen from their lenses. I want to be part of that. It's a big room, a big echo chamber, where we all talk about one thing in various accents, and that is Japan, and how much we love it. Also, on a very personal level, I'm gonna be running this video log to keep track and to share with you guys, all of my viewers, how I'm reinventing myself. I guess we all go through that process of change when we want to repackage or rebrand ourselves. If we were this quiet kid back in high school, voila, in college we become outgoing. I'd say I'm a bit of a late bloomer because I decided to live my own life only now that I'm in my late 20s here in in a foreign country away from my family and friends. I felt that the independence that I'm enjoying now is forcing me to change for the better, to look at problems from a different perspective, to stop whining, and to always take everything in stride and to charge everything to experience. What I have here with me are a couple of books that I brought with me from back home, the Philippines, and I'm rereading them because I feel that I could learn a bit more reading these books as a foreigner here in Japan. And as I go through them, I'm going to be sharing some of my thoughts, my perspectives on how a certain passage reflects my life here in Japan, or how a certain character's motivations, how his narrative sort of parallels mine. Yeah, I'm a literary person that way, and I live for books. That's why they're very important to me. And the books I'm going to show you now are some of the books that I might be quoting for the next 13 months. I might be adding some more if I get to read some um, some beautiful literature. Oh, and by the way, if you can recommend some books to me, feel free to do so. I would definitely appreciate it. Leave a comment below. All right. So some of the books that will be coming in will be Silence by Shusaku Endo. It's a beautiful book, and it's the first Japanese novel to actually move me to tears. As you may know, Shusaku Endo is Japan's foremost Catholic writer, and he writes from an interesting perspective, that of a Japanese Catholic. So yeah, I'm gonna be quoting from this book pretty soon. A lot of good stuff in here. That and I am rediscovering my Catholicism, my religion. I was for the longest time an agnostic back home. I think now I have rediscovered spirituality or a renewed belief in God without having to accept wholesale piety or religiosity. I'm staying away from that. So there. Second book on my list would be Ernest Hemingway's The Sun Also Rises. Now, this is about American expats during the Jazz Age, and they're living it up in Paris. I had a love affair with Paris because I'd always wanted to live in France, be Parisienne, learn Francais, make French friends, etc. That never happened. Life always pointed me to Japan, and now I'm back in Japan, so great. But this talks about the life of an expat, and I am an expat. I am an expatriate. I'm not in my country. Yeah, I'm not here to work. I'm here to study. I'm away from my family and friends. And the friends that I do have here are other foreigners. So there's a parallel there. And hey, I always like Ernest Hemingway's style. Simple, direct, clear, crisp. The way writing should be. The next book that I might be quoting from, and this by the way is one of my most favorite novels of all time, is Muriel Barbery's The Elegance of the Hedgehog. Now, to all of my friends, to all my viewers out there who can speak French, this is Muriel Barbery de L'Élégance du Hérisson. Now, if my accent were bad, please let me know. Sorry, I just picked up a bit of French back in high school. I love my French classes. Really love learning the accent. I read this when I'm feeling down, when I feel that my faith in humanity has to be restored, when I want to reconnect with the world of philosophy. This book is chock full of things to think about when you're going through an important stage of your life. I think I am. I'm in my late 20s. So whatever that stage, whatever you call that stage, well, it's important to me. The last book that I might be quoting from is from my favorite author, Alan Hollinghurst. Now, to those of you who are into British literature, he won the Booker Prize in 2004 for this novel, The Line of Beauty. And it talks about an aesthete, a young Oxford Don, who is obsessed with Henry James and is in search of both beauty and love. Ooh, sounds like me. Yes, I do appreciate beauty. I am looking for love in whatever form it may come. And reading and rereading this book has always told me that there is beauty everywhere. There is beauty in decadence. There is beauty in loneliness. There is beauty in the simple things. There is beauty in excess. So there, those are some of the books that are more or less influencing my life right now. And I have to admit, sometimes I can relate to some of the primary characters' dilemmas, problems, now that I'm living here in Japan. Yeah, so there. Basically, that's why I'm writing this vlog. It's personal, but I want to share it with the world. At the same time, I'm also doing this because I really miss having conversations with other people personal conversations like this one. And one promise I can give is that the videos that I will record will always be spontaneous. I don't edit. I'm just gonna record it. So if you find it a little troublesome to look at my grainy videos, please give me some good software to recommend. Recommend some good software I could use, just so I could take a better video, I suppose. I'm just using one on my laptop. It's pretty good, I suppose. For as long as I can upload it, it's fine. So there. Yeah, that's about it. If you'd like to know more about me, if you'd like to find out more about me, then keep watching the video log that I promise is going to be more exciting than this one. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. On Twitter, I am at the Glass Poppy. The Glass Poppy, yeah, the flower. And on Instagram, I am Nettles and Poppies. Nettles and Poppies. My tweets are usually about life in Japan, things I see, some occasional pictures, and Instagram. When I see something beautiful, I take a picture of it, put on a filter, and upload it on Instagram. Followers are always welcome. I'd always like to share stuff with you guys. So there. I'm afraid I'm starting to ramble, so I'm going to end it here. So please subscribe to my channel. Please keep watching. And I appreciate any comments or suggestions or questions. I'd be glad to answer them. Alright, so here's my promise to you all, and my promise to myself as well. I have 13 months to go, and what am I going to do about it? I'm going to make the next 13 months here in Tokyo, here in Japan, simply awesome. And I'm going to share them with the world. Alright? So, till next time, ciao ciao. Bye.